Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before I say anything else, I want you to notice what you feel right now, because if this video found you, it's not by accident. In the next few seconds, I'm going to say something that might make your chest tighten. If the thought of losing her scares you more than being rejected by her, you're already emotionally involved, even if you pretend you're not. Take a breath. And if you want deeper truths like this, subscribe to the channel and like this video, because what I'm sharing today is meant for men who are ready to grow. I'm speaking to you not as a judge, but as a psychologist who has listened to thousands of men whisper the same fear. The first sign you're both afraid to love each other is this quiet dance of restraint. You hold back words that want to escape. She does the same. Not because there's nothing there, but because there's too much at stake. Real attachment activates the brain's threat system. When something matters, the mind becomes cautious. That caution looks like mixed signals, delayed texts, humor instead of honesty, strength instead of vulnerability. You might tell yourself you're just being logical. She might say she's taking things slow, but underneath, both of you are managing fear, not disinterest. Fear of being seen fully, fear of needing someone, fear of losing control. When two people already care, they instinctively protect the bond by not touching it too hard. It's like holding glass. You grip gently, hoping it won't shatter. Notice how conflict never fully explodes between you. Important conversations hover, unresolved, because addressing them would make the connection real, and real means risk. So you both pretend you're independent, detached, unaffected, yet her mood affects your day. Your silence affects her sleep. That contradiction is not confusion, it's attachment colliding with self-protection. If this resonates, don't shame yourself. This pattern doesn't mean you're weak. It means your nervous system recognizes value. Love doesn't announce itself with certainty at first. Sometimes it arrives as fear, because fear is what shows up when something finally matters. Stay present with that feeling, because awareness is the first step toward choice. And choice is how fear slowly turns into courage, connection, and grounded masculine confidence that doesn't run from intimacy, but stands steady inside it, even when emotions feel unfamiliar initially. The second sign hides in what never gets said, but always gets felt. You both act strong, composed, almost emotionally self-sufficient. Yet the moment distance appears, something inside you tightens. This is the fear of abandonment, wearing the mask of pride. Men often misunderstand this feeling and label it as weakness. It isn't. It's the biological alarm that activates when a meaningful bond is threatened. Watch how you both react when closeness increases. Right after a deep moment, someone pulls back. Maybe it's you becoming quieter. Maybe it's her suddenly acting busy. This isn't manipulation, it's emotional regulation. When intimacy rises, the brain anticipates pain. So it creates space to regain control. The problem is, both of you are doing it at the same time, mirroring each other's defenses. You may notice that compliments feel dangerous. Expressing how much she matters feels like handing her power. And on her side, softness feels risky because women are taught that vulnerability can be used against them. So instead of saying, "I care," she tests. Instead of saying, "I miss you," you joke. These are not games. They are protective strategies learned long before you met each other. What's crucial for you to understand as a man is this: fear of love doesn't come from lack of experience. It comes from emotional memory. Past disappointments teach the nervous system to stay alert. Even confident, disciplined men carry this imprint, especially men who value control. Love asks for presence, not dominance. That's why it feels destabilizing. Notice how you both feel safest in moments of shared silence rather than direct emotional exposure. Sitting together feels easier than defining the relationship. That's because presence feels controllable, while definition feels permanent. Permanence triggers fear, because permanence implies loss is possible. This is where masculine maturity matters, not forcing clarity, not withdrawing into indifference, but tolerating the discomfort of caring without immediately needing guarantees. Strength here is not stoicism, it's emotional steadiness. When you don't punish yourself for caring and you don't punish her for hesitating, something shifts. If you're afraid and still staying, that means something inside you believes the connection is worth the risk. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means slow down and become conscious, because when two people are afraid in the same way, they're not distant. They're standing at the same emotional edge, waiting for someone to prove that closeness doesn't always end in loss, betrayal, or disappearance, but can grow safely through patience, grounded confidence, and emotionally intelligent leadership from within. Here's something most men never realize. The very things that scare you about her are the things that prove she already loves you. Pay attention to the small inconsistencies. Her sudden laughter when you enter the room, the way her eyes search for yours even when she acts indifferent. These micro moments are emotional leakage. They betray what words often try to hide. Both of you are terrified of being seen fully, yet every glance, every subtle touch, every hesitation speaks louder than any declaration. Think about the last time she let her guard down around you. Maybe it was a fleeting laugh that didn't quite match the conversation. Maybe it was a momentary vulnerability she quickly covered. That split-second reveal is the truth your mind often overlooks. Her fear isn't absence, it's awareness. Awareness of how deep her feelings run, how exposed she is, and how much she risks by admitting them. And you do the same. You joke, you pull away, you avoid topics that might force honesty, but your actions, your protective hesitations, confirm that her presence is already embedded in your emotional reality. What's crucial here is to notice how her fear mirrors yours. When a man finally observes this, the dynamic shifts from uncertainty to insight. You realize the tension, the push and pull, the avoidance. It's not lack of attraction. It's a perfectly synchronized defense mechanism. Two people, both invested, both scared, both not wanting to lose control, and yet neither willing to admit that love has already arrived. And here's the psychological truth most men ignore. Fear and love are not opposites. They are intertwined. The intensity of your fear reflects the intensity of your emotional investment. If you felt nothing, you wouldn't hesitate, wouldn't pause, wouldn't overthink. You wouldn't care. The very anxiety that keeps you up at night, the uncertainty that makes your chest tighten when you hear her voice, the frustration of wanting more yet holding back. These are the fingerprints of love already present, quietly declaring itself in the safest way her nervous system can allow. So, notice it. Name it silently in your mind. Recognize the fear in yourself as a proof of care. Observe her subtle cues as confirmation, and stop judging yourself for it. Because once you do, you'll begin to see patterns where once there was chaos, signals where once there was noise, and a connection that is far deeper than either of you would admit, even to yourselves. Fear has been the veil, but underneath, love is already standing there, waiting for courage to meet it. Now, let's talk about what happens when you both start noticing patterns in each other that nobody else would see. When two people are afraid to love but already do, there's a silent testing ground that runs beneath every conversation, every laugh, every touch. You both instinctively scan for signs. Does she care if I leave? Does he notice when I'm sad? These unspoken tests aren't manipulative, they're survival mechanisms. Your brains are wired to protect attachment while keeping you safe. You may find yourself imagining scenarios in your head, predicting her reactions, rehearsing conversations you'll never have. That's not insecurity, that's awareness combined with fear. And she's doing the exact same thing. She's measuring your responses, watching if your presence soothes or ignites tension, silently asking, "Can I trust you not to vanish when things feel too real?" This is why communication often feels fragmented. Because both of you are playing it safe without realizing the other is doing the exact same thing. Pay attention to the moments of vulnerability she allows. Maybe she texts you first after a long silence, or laughs at a joke that hides something deeper. Those are cracks in the armor, and when you respond with patience instead of pushing for clarity, you create safety. Safety is the invisible currency of love that fear alone cannot buy. Notice how your emotions spike in small ways. A kind word feels heavy, a glance feels electric. That intensity isn't random. It's proof that connection is already there. The more afraid you both are, the more potent these small gestures become. And here's the paradox. Fear magnifies love. When you learn to recognize the signs rather than misinterpret them, you start seeing the patterns that prove you are already emotionally entangled, long before you admit it to yourselves. The key is presence. Not intensity, not grand gestures, but simply being steady in moments that matter. When she withdraws, don't chase. When you hesitate, don't overthink. Let awareness guide you. When you respond with grounded curiosity instead of reactive emotion, fear begins to lose its power. You start learning that closeness doesn't have to hurt. It can nurture, it can expand, it can reveal parts of both of you that only love has the courage to touch. This is why the moments of tension, anxiety, and uncertainty aren't obstacles. They are proof. Proof that the connection is real, that the heart is awake, and that both of you are teetering on the edge of something transformative. The choice is no longer whether to love. It's whether to step forward with clarity, courage, and the quiet confidence that comes from understanding fear itself. Here's the truth most men never hear. When you both are afraid to love but already do, every action, every hesitation is a mirror reflecting your own unspoken needs back at you. The nervous system doesn't lie. Your fear is her fear. Her restraint is your restraint. And that synchronicity is not coincidence. It's chemistry, psychology, and deep emotional resonance all wrapped together. The tension you feel when she's near is proof you matter to each other, even if neither of you says it aloud. Think about how often you replay conversations in your head, not just the meaningful ones, the trivial ones too. That replay isn't obsession. It's your brain trying to decode emotional significance, and she's doing the exact same thing, often in parallel. This is why mixed signals feel maddening. They aren't contradictions. They are the push and pull of two nervous systems negotiating the same fear. Every withdrawal, every tease, every delayed reply, it's love trying to communicate while armored in caution. You might notice how the intensity grows when you fight or argue. That's not accidental. Conflict in these moments is often the subconscious attempt to measure boundaries. Both of you want to know, if I step closer, will he stay? If I reveal this, will she vanish? And here's where men fail to see the truth. This testing is actually intimacy in disguise. The moment she challenges you, or you challenge her, it's because the emotional stakes are high enough to matter. Small conflicts are proof the bond is alive, not dying. Pay attention to your body during these moments. Rapid heartbeat, tension in your chest, that mental churn. That's fear of loss, meeting recognition of value. The two of you are navigating the edge where attachment meets vulnerability. Realizing this is crucial. Fear isn't the enemy. Avoidance is. Acting out of fear and retreating breaks the connection. Showing up in spite of it strengthens it. So, if you've been walking on eggshells, trying to hide care behind humor or pride, recognize this. The unspoken love is already there. Your shared fear doesn't negate it, it confirms it. And the only way to move forward is with conscious presence. The next time you feel that tug in your chest when she laughs, when she looks at you, when she pauses before speaking, don't run. Observe. Feel it fully. Respond with grounded intention. Because love that begins with fear, when navigated wisely, has the potential to become the strongest, most unshakable bond you will ever experience. The key is courage wrapped in awareness. Showing up steadily, without needing certainty, without trying to control the outcome. That is how two fearful hearts can evolve into two fearless ones. Now, let's dig even deeper. There's a hidden pattern most men miss entirely. When both of you are afraid to love, you start unconsciously testing the limits of each other's patience, tolerance, and emotional availability. You might think she's playing games, or that you're overanalyzing her behavior. But what's really happening is that both of your nervous systems are scanning for safety. Every small signal, every pause, every word unsaid carries a hidden question. Can I rely on him to stay even when it's uncomfortable? Will she still care if I show my true self? Notice how proximity feels electric, yet terrifying. Being close triggers excitement and anxiety at the same time. That spike in